What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about TOSHI today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And let's get into it, all right? Here we are on the 15th day of June, sitting at about 30528. I don't know why I always start off on the Coinbase chart. We got to move it to that MEXC chart. We need the history, man. Actually, damn it, I did it. I've done this before too, where I go back and forth. We're gonna look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom out to the long-term stuff. That's when we'll use the MEXC chart. Okay. I very much do believe, and I've had the suspicion for a second that this is our low area. Of course, we could go lower, and it's not a problem if we do. You know, let's take this low to high real quick. Low to high. We didn't get the actual low on there. Come on now, give it to me. There we go. Just below the 382, back above the 382. It's kind of obscure, not typical of a reaction at the 382, but with that, maybe we have a non-typical bottom where we just kind of find the low here and we get a higher low. That's okay. Overall, we're in this downward sloping trend, right? Lower lows, lower highs, the whole shebang. I think right now we're actually in a good posturing to break out of this lower high scenario and see some immaculate growth here over the coming days and over the coming weeks. Let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll zoom back out. We'll talk about this in a second. Okay, so 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame here, looking bullish. Definitely looking bullish, yes. Hitting the overbought zone here, getting near the overbought zone here. You rejected, or I guess you rejected your 60 area here. Rejected the oversold zone. Very volatile. Not making up your mind, but slowly but surely, I feel like you are showing your hand here that you want to be bullish, that you've got this kind of bullish trajectory in mind. Now, you might find some resistance here and come back down. Maybe not that low. Might come back down here and find some support right there. Higher lows, you know, before moving up into the overbought zone. So today, Sunday, the end of the week, maybe you come down a little bit, and that's fine if you do. It's really not a problem. But as long as you're not going below, I would say like 305, I don't think you're in jeopardy of going any lower, right? Maybe you go down to 3048, 3045, 3042 if we were to see a lower low than this. But with the anticipation of Bitcoin and the rest of crypto moving up, going through this next week, and even to end the day, I wouldn't assume too much to the downside for TOSHI here. But looking at that red candle that we had on the last 1 hour candle, moving up like this, not a lot of volume, it's the weekend, you know, whatever. I would think that rejection off the overbought area probably does take you at least to the 50, if not more likely down to the 40 area. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you went down to the 40, found a higher low. It looks like it's meant to be. So something like that should be anticipated. The last time that you rejected here and you went down to those kind of areas, you know, you saw a move down like this. So don't be scared if we do move down and we see something at about 305. I don't think that that's a problem. We could get an overall kind of like double bottom and then move up from there. And if we do go below 305, I suppose that that's not ideal, you know, calling for this to be the low. But if we do go below 305, there are lower targets, or no, I'm sorry, not this to be the low, this to be the low. There are some lower targets that make sense as well. Low to high here, 786, rejecting the golden ratio. Maybe you go down to 30486. That's fine, right? That's the 886 right there. It's a very possible outcome. When you do get above 3053 on a 4 hour closing basis, I would expect that we are moving up higher. And you're very, very close to doing that. Absolutely, I think you're very, very close to doing that. Looking at the RSI, you've got into the really, you've been oversold, overbought now, not getting oversold. You are turning the tide bullishly. You had a bit of a downtrend here in the 4 hour. You can see lower highs, lower lows, downtrend here. You substituted that for a sideways moving trend, and now it looks like you're taking the shape of a kind of upward sloping trend in itself. And maybe this was a blemish. Maybe that was a blemish up there to the upside. Maybe it's more of a trend like this. You know, suggested that next week we should be getting into this overbought zone, seeing some higher readings and stronger readings, which will produce growth, right? Anytime we get in the overbought zone, even if it's a little pip like that, you know, like I'm thinking more of a reading like this, so some kind of move like this is what's going to happen over the next week, in my opinion, or the next couple of weeks even. But something like this could happen if we get consistent readings in the overbought zone, even a little taste like that, we get a nice move up. I mean, just to compare this here from a low to a high, even that's a 32% move there, which I don't think anybody from the current price would be upset with that. That in itself would take us up to 307. I certainly do believe we'll be above 307. We might even be above 308 or more by the end of this coming week. I very much do believe that we'll be back above this high. We will see higher prices than we've seen from TOSHI in months. We're going to see a higher high than this by the end of the month of June, and if not by the end of the month, very, very early in July, and pushing higher, right? That's kind of the expectation. If anything, if I'm going to be wrong about anything, if this is to surprise me to any degree, I would say it's to the upside, right? Maybe I'm not bullish enough. Maybe by the end of June, you're not just around these highs. Maybe by the end of June, you're literally all the way up by these highs here. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, damn. And now that I'm thinking about it, you might be. Because I can't see you looking at this. I take it back. I don't think you'll be here by the end of June. I think you will be higher, actually. Lower highs. Yeah, I don't know. I was just trying to sound appropriate, I guess, with the 4 hour, not being too bullish. But if we were to make a move up at all, like we're not going to do this by the end of June. I don't think so. I think we are. Next week's going to be good. You're probably going to get above this high by the end of next week. And if you're doing that, you're breaking out of this range. And if you're breaking out of this range, you're in a breakout move, man. You're going to be moving up higher. This is the end of the month right here. And this is how you moved last time. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually wouldn't be surprised at all if you're at like 2015, 2002 maybe. Let's look at the MEXC chart. We're getting into the longer term stuff here. That's my chair. Okay. If you're wondering what that noise is. It's nothing else. It's just my chair, man. I have the decency to hit the mute button if I need to make my own noises, okay? We're at 3052 right now. Whenever you break out to the upside, again, this thing likes to move fast. Even in this smaller move, you moved up pretty fast relative to this move here. You moved up pretty fast here. So I would think, actually, looking at this, 202 might be a good area to expect by the end of this month. 2013, 20175, 2023, something in that area. Yes, I think that's where you're going to be doing. Moving up, end of month, again, that's right here, end of month. You'll probably be up at this area, if not higher. And the pace that I'm drawing is slower than this last pace, so I'm trying to be conservative. I think 20137 by the end of the month is a good idea, good prospect. If not there, 2023 or somewhere in between, most likely by the end of the month. Going into July, we should be seeing some higher targets, higher prices, right? That would, at a minimum, result in a 8.3x from here, from all-time high to the low, high to low here, 1272 like that, 8.3x, that would be the move. All the way up to the golden ratio, that's at about 1 cent, which is a nice psychological level of resistance. This isn't promised, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a 19, almost a 20x move right there from the current price. Or even more likely something in between. Maybe you're at 007. That's kind of the area that I've been clinging to for a little while now, is that 007 area, just because it sounds cool, man. Who doesn't want to be James Bond? TOSHI is going to channel that inner James Bondness, and we're going to see 007. Or maybe in classic meme fashion, we actually see 0069. Something that's around like a 12 to a 13x, 14x, whatever, or more. That's my expectation. But at a bare minimum, we're looking for something on the lines like an 8x. Yeah, I think that you're going to grow. You're going to see a good bit of growth. Somebody was asking if it was listed on Binance listing. Is that? I don't know if that's happening. I don't think so. Hopefully, I don't have anything. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see. Is Binance listing TOSHI? Are they going to list Uncle Brian's cat meme? We'll see. Well, yeah, obviously. Community momentum and exchange listings, TOSHI, a meme coin, yes. Social media, speculations, just speculations. People are speculating. I don't know. I don't know if that's something they'd list, right? For Binance to list, understand this, guys, right? Coinbase and Binance are competitors, right? And maybe they're cordial with each other, maybe they're not. I don't know what Brian's relationship is with CZ, right? But and Brian Armstrong is the CEO, like the owner of Coinbase. CZ is the owner of Binance, right? I know that they're not the sole owners; that it's a whole team, it's a whole group, right? Whatever. But basically, they're competitors. Why would Coinbase, because they're the ones I'm pretty sure that brought this token into existence, why would they pay Binance to list their coin? The only other way that Binance would list it is they would buy this coin so that they could list it on their exchange. But why would they pay for this coin, effectively paying Coinbase? Like I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe something that I said there isn't completely accurate, and maybe they are going to list on Binance. I don't know. But not every coin gets listed on Binance. Not every coin, even if it does well, gets listed on Binance. So don't hold out for that. But I very much do believe we're on our way to new all-time highs this week, this upcoming week, which we're going to start in about 7 hours. will result in a breakout of this downtrend, and with that we should get that next phase higher. It should take us around these highs, if not higher, by the end of the month, posturing us very well to see new all-time highs by the end of July, going into July. And we should see something from here that's on the lines of like an 8x or more, 8x to a 20x, probably something right in the middle there at about like a 13 to a 14x is what we're going to get. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We can look at some stuff real quick, actually. Hold on, let me look at the ribbons real quick. Yes. Yes. The daily ribbon does look pretty good, actually. Come on now. There we go. Looks pretty good as long as we can get back above 2057, which I think we're going to do that over the next week, so that's good. 3-day ribbon, bullish, looking good, yes. Weekly ribbon, it's too young, so we don't really know. But yeah, looking good on that front. What about the Mrs. Ram, or the Miss Ram? Let's see. Let's see here. I'll get this on there. MACD looking like it wants to turn bullish. I actually do like the posturing of the MACD. Stochastics look fine too. RSI looks good. Weekly time frame, you don't really have a whole lot going on, but you do look bullish in that front as well. What about the 3-day? Nice little in between. 3-day MACD looks fine. You're building bearish momentum now, but you're not going lower. You're building bearish momentum, and you're actually getting higher lows. So that's hidden bullish divergence in its sense right there. The stochastics, the stochastics make me think you want to go down, but the stochastics can lie. You could definitely bounce from here and move up higher. The RSI makes me think you want to go up, and the MACD makes me think you're at a relative low, so I don't think you go lower. Yeah. I don't got anything else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.